Did you know that the fall of Constantinople in 1453 marked the end of the Byzantine Empire and changed the course of history forever? The events surrounding the sack of this legendary city marked a pivotal moment that not only ended an empire but reshaped global politics, trade, and religion for centuries to come. The sack of Constantinople was not just a single event but the climax of years of struggle and the gradual decline of one of history's greatest empires, the Byzantine Empire. Constantinople, with its strategic position bridging Europe and Asia, was a jewel of the ancient world, home to incredible art, religious relics, and powerful trade routes. By the time of its fall, however, the city was a shadow of its former glory, weakened by internal strife, a shrinking population, and increasing military pressure from the powerful Ottoman Empire. Today, we're going to dive into the story of how this once great city met its end. As we look back, it's clear that Constantinople faced overwhelming challenges in the lead-up to the sack. Once a thriving metropolis, the city had seen its population dwindle due to decades of war, plague, and political instability. Its defenses were still impressive, particularly the Theodosian walls, which had withstood numerous sieges over the centuries. But Constantinople's resources were stretched thin, and the city's economic and military might was no longer what it once was. Added to this, the empire had few allies willing to come to its aid. Europe was divided by its own conflicts, and though the Byzantines made appeals to Western Europe for help, tensions between the Orthodox East and Catholic West often complicated these relationships. This isolation left Constantinople vulnerable as it faced the growing threat from the Ottoman Turks, who, under the ambitious leadership of Sultan Mehmed II, saw the city as the key to solidifying their power and expanding into Europe. The events leading up to the sack are marked by a relentless Ottoman campaign and some of the most intense siege tactics of the medieval period. In April 1453, Mehmed II laid siege to the city with a massive force of around 80,000 soldiers and an arsenal that included an enormous cannon, built specifically to breach the famed walls of Constantinople. The Byzantines, led by the last Byzantine Emperor, Constantine XI, could muster only a fraction of the Ottomans' numbers, around 7,000 defenders, including a contingent of Genoese mercenaries. For nearly 2 months, the Ottomans hammered the walls of Constantinople. Mehmed used a combination of tactics, from mining operations to weaken the city's foundations to relentless artillery bombardment. Meanwhile, the Byzantines held their ground, repairing walls at night and using all available means to resist the siege. But as supplies dwindled, hope began to fade within the city. Negotiations for peace broke down, and by late May, it was clear that the Ottomans would press their advantage to the end. The climax came in the early hours of May 29, 1453, when Mehmed launched an all-out assault on the city. The Ottomans broke through after heavy fighting, and chaos swept over Constantinople. Mehmed's forces poured in, with many defenders fighting to the death in the streets and churches. The breach was brutal, the city was sacked, and years of priceless art, religious relics, and historical manuscripts were looted or destroyed in the aftermath. Emperor Constantine XI fought on the front lines and reportedly died as the city fell, marking the symbolic end of the Byzantine Empire. The fall of Constantinople had profound and far-reaching consequences. For the Ottomans, it was the beginning of a new era, as Mehmed declared the city his new capital and began its transformation into Istanbul. The events signaled the end of the Middle Ages and the beginning of the Ottoman dominance in the region, reshaping the balance of power between East and West. It also marked a shift in trade routes, as European nations sought new ways to the east, eventually leading to the Age of Exploration. What do you think? Was the fall of Constantinople inevitable given the rise of the Ottomans, or could the city have survived with more support from Europe? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to check out our other videos on key moments in history. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.